Hi, this is the installation of our lmc5 module designed to both prevent and repair column lock problems and failures in 97 through 04 C5 Corvettes. This particular car has already had a column lock failure, so if I turn the key to on and look at the DIC, you'll see it says service column lock. It also gives the pull key wait 10 seconds message and the 2-mile-an-hour fuel cutoff. The whole installation basically occurs in the passenger footwell area here, so we'll start by removing the floor mat, and then in front of that you'll see a carpeted kick-up panel, which some have latches. If you see latches, just pop them open, pull the top of the panel toward you, and remove it. On the right is the fuse panel, on the left is the BCM. First thing we'll do is start by disconnecting the negative battery cable, and when you do that, make sure that the cable doesn't actually still contact the battery terminal. Just push it to the side. Okay, negative terminal disconnected. We'll then remove the BCM. You pull up on this little tab here on the bottom, and then take your other hand, lift up the BCM a little, take your other hand and just push it down so it pops free from the body panel. You'll notice that there are two hooks on the top of the BCM that fit into two rectangular openings in the body panel there. So that's what you're removing when you do that. We'll then go to the connectors on the side of the BCM. There are three connectors, a green and two pinks. We are going to remove the connectors from the BCM. You depress this blue locking tab on the connector, and you'll notice that part of the connector stays attached to the BCM. Don't pull on that part. We're just going to pull on this outer portion here, which obviously gets removed. And sometimes it takes a little bit of wiggling and jiggling because the connectors fit rather tightly. Go to the second one, depress the tab. Hold on to the connector and pull it off. Go to the last one, depress the tab. Again, wiggling the BCM as necessary. Remember, they can fit rather tightly. Put the BCM to the side so it's nice and secure. Then we'll get our LMC5 packet here. Open it up. You'll notice that our instructions are pretty detailed, color photos. They should really help with the installation, so please take the time to go through them. And then we'll open our little packet here. In it we've got our LMC5 module, three plastic caps which we'll use to cover the old wire terminals that we remove, a couple of cable ties to keep the module nice and secure against the wiring harness, and a hex key Allen wrench terminal removal tool. We'll start with this green connector, and we will use the tool to press against each of these locking tangs on this blue tab to pop them off, and then we'll remove this locking tab from the connector, and you can see why we call it a comb-like clip or comb-like tab. Then we're going to remove the orange and purple wires from this connector. It's always a good idea to line up the connector as illustrated in our photos and our instructions. That way you have the smallest chance of removing the wrong wire by mistake. Orange is in the corner here. Never put anything into these center two rows of holes. These outer holes here, these are the terminal release holes which we will insert the tool into to release each terminal before pulling the wire out. So we'll start with the orange wire. We'll grasp the orange wire in the connector, making sure the wire is fully seated. Take the tool and insert it into the top corner opening. Right there like that, and then simply pull the wire out the back. We'll then go to the purple wire, which is the third hole over in the same row. Insert the tool, pull the wire out the back. We'll then take our LMC5, straighten the wires just a little, and get the orange and purple wires here. We'll start with the orange, and look at the orientation of the wires as you remove them and compare them with the new wire you're going to put in. They go like this. You'll see there's kind of a square socket opening at the end of the terminal, and that goes toward the inside of the terminal, the inside of the connector. And it's a rectangular opening, so you should be able to slide it in very easily. You don't need to use any force. If it's not doesn't seem to be going in easily, pull it out, make sure you've got it in the right orientation, because you should literally just be able to push it in gently like that. Then we'll take the purple one, make sure that we have it lined up in the same way, and gently slide it into the third slot. So orange, then another orange that we didn't touch, and then the purple wire. Then we'll take the blue comb-like clip, put it right back over the connector, and snap it on. Next we'll move to the larger pink connector on the other end. Again, taking our hex key terminal removal tool, push off the locking tabs, and that one popped right out. We're going to then remove this green wire. Again, you line up the connector like in our photos, and that'll help you figure out where everything is. You'll notice there's an empty slot in the end of the connector, and then the green wire we're going to remove. There's also another green wire next to it, so make sure that you remove the first green wire and insert the new wire from the LMC5, the green wire also, into that second slot. So we'll take our tool, put it into the second hole, and pull the wire right out the back. We'll get our LMC5 wire, make sure that we've lined it up properly, and insert it into the hole until it comfortably snaps in. And you can actually pull on them to make sure that they're not going to pop right out. Then we'll get our blue locking clip and snap it on. Push the LMC5 over to the side there. Make sure the black wire is down in front, and grab your BCM, and we'll reconnect the three connectors. The big pink one first, then the other pink one, and then the green one. Make sure that they've snapped in, they're fully seated, and that those little blue locking clips are back on the connector there. Now we'll take our black ground wire here with the screw, lock nut, and lock washer, and remove the three items from the ground wire. Take the screw and put it in through the back of the tab. That way the BCM can sit back in its proper location easily. Move the wire over, make sure it can reach the screw with no problem. Then after putting the screw in, we'll put the lock washer on. Then the LMC5 black wire terminal, and then start the lock nut on with your fingers. 1/4 inch and 5/16 wrenches are all the tools you really need for the installation. I'll use a 1/4 inch wrench on the screw, and I generally prefer, when available, using a nut driver for the nut. It just makes the installation a little faster. Also, hold on to the black wire here so that it doesn't spin around as you're tightening down the nut. And go ahead and tighten it securely. There we go, nice and tight. Now we will take our plastic caps and cap off the three wires, those little metal terminals that we removed, the purple, orange, and green. Then we'll get one of our cable ties here, hit the LMC5, and just wrap the cable tie around the LMC5 wires and the wiring harness here so it stays right up in a nice position here and can't fall back behind the BCM. Now take the BCM and line up those two hooks in the back with the rectangular slots in the body panel. Insert it in and press down on the locking tab till it seats. I'll then tuck the wires into this little body cavity here, the other one back up there. Just make sure no wires are snagged anywhere and everything fits nice and securely. You can see the LMC5 up at the top there. Now I'll reconnect the negative battery cable. Okay, cable's connected. We'll go over here and insert the key. We always recommend you try it a few times. Go for a test drive, make sure that everything's working properly. And door ajar, odometer. Go to trip, whatever other gauge that you want. Remove the key again, wait a couple seconds. Try to avoid always reinserting a key right after you remove it in any C5. Go back to on. Door ajar, No more messages, so the installation is complete. And you didn't make any mistakes if you don't see any messages. Thanks.